They release pages and pages of redacted papers, the kind of docs that promise answers, but mostly show how hard police are working while keeping the crucial bits hidden for now. If you want every verified update as it comes out, hit subscribe and ring the notification bell. This case needs steady attention, not rumors. What those court files make clear, even to the black bars and missing paragraphs, is just how deep the RCMP's effort has been. The public version of the warrant applications reads like a checklist of modern police work: polygraphs, cell phone and GPS records, bank statements, school bus and toll booth video, septic system checks, and thousands of photos and clips taken from private cameras inside an 8-kilometer radius. Investigators say they collected more than 5,000 videos and photos and followed up on roughly 670 tips. They examined search histories and messaging apps. They walked every yard and shoreline they could reach. They combed wells and mine shafts and even the contents of septic tanks. All of that work is evidence of an investigation that has not been idle. And yet, despite that scale, the files are heavily redacted. Judges allowed the release of the warrant material, but only after large parts were blacked out. The police and courts explained why. Some details, they say, would interfere with the investigation if they were public, and other portions would violate the privacy of people who are not suspects. That's a familiar tension. Transparency versus the need to preserve a probe's integrity. For families and neighbors desperate for answers, redactions can feel like a wall. For investigators, they're a shield that protects active leads and the people whose cooperation may be needed to solve the case. One blunt line in the material still stands out, and investigators note that at this point in the investigation, Jack and Lily's disappearance is not believed to be criminal in nature. The statement matters because it describes how the RCMP assessed the case at that time. It does not mean the file will stay non-criminal forever, but it does explain why certain early steps, like issuing an Amber Alert, might not have been triggered. Amber Alerts have strict requirements. There must be reasonable grounds to believe a child has been abducted, specific identifying information about the child, and a belief that immediate broadcast will help recover the child. When those thresholds aren't met, police have to use other tools. The RCMP's approach in this investigation has been broad. Gather everything possible and let the facts decide the direction. Looking more closely at the items listed in the warrant applications helps show what investigators were trying to do. They asked for GPS and communication records from the mother's and stepfather's phones, and for banking records. Those records can do two things. First, they provide objective timestamps, a location ping here, a purchase there, that can confirm or rebuke statements people made to police. Second, they can reveal previously unknown contacts or movements that create new lines of inquiry. Investigators also requested video from school buses operating in the area and from toll booths at the Cobequid Pass, a key stretch of highway. Those camera feeds can show whether certain vehicles left the region on certain days. Police also sought video from private cameras within an 8-kilometer radius and from businesses, which explains a high number, more than 5,000, of photos and videos they say they collected. All of this effort is standard in a contemporary missing children inquiry, but is nevertheless massive in scope. The RCMP's requests also included records from a messaging app the mother reportedly used, Text Plus, and other electronic logs. Modern investigations increasingly turn on that digital trail. When people are asleep, devices keep working. GPS pings, Wi-Fi connections, and app histories can create a precise map of movement and communication that humans, under stress, cannot reliably reconstruct. That's why police sought so many different kinds of records. If a phone ping puts a device at a specific point, and a toll booth camera shows a car passing nearby at the same hour, those two pieces together narrow the window investigators must examine. At the same time, the redactions frustrate the public. People want specifics, what the apps showed, what the bank statements revealed, what was on camera near the house. The RCMP's position is that revealing those specifics now could tip off potential suspects or ruin a chance to gather better evidence later. That tension between openness and operational security is one of the hardest parts of policing high-profile cases in the internet era. If police release too much, a guilty party might adapt or hide. If they release too little, public trust can fray and rumors thrive. And rumors have indeed thrived. The court files themselves know the darker side of public interest. A global chorus of amateur sleuths, AI-generated videos, and social media profiteers spinning theories, and proving claims, and sometimes hateful commentary. The online landscape around this case has at times turned abusive. Thousands of people have sifted through family photos, social posts, and snatches of information, recasting grief as drama and questions as accusations. That kind of activity does not help an investigation. It can scare off potential witnesses, interfere with interviews, and amplify false leads that waste crucial time. Worse, it can harm the very people investigators hope will cooperate. Family members, neighbors, and possible witnesses who suddenly find themselves the subject of online harassment. This is why investigators often plead for media and the public to be careful. Verified tips, original footage with timestamps, and private messages turned over through official channels do far more to help than speculation and public shaming. Digital files can be analyzed for metadata. Subtle details in an original clip, the exact timestamp, the device used to record it, the angle of the camera, can confirm a sighting or rule it out. Compressed clips on social platforms usually lose that metadata, which makes them less useful. Police repeatedly emphasize that both accuracy and timing matter. An early tip that's verifiable is worth far more than hundreds of social posts that repeat and embellish an improving claim. The court documents list the kinds of technical steps investigators took, and that list is striking for its breadth. They reviewed search histories and GPS coordinates, pumped and checked septic systems, and collected CCTV footage from a wide area. They carried out a massive ground search that covered property, forest, and waterways. People who know rural Nova Scotia understand how difficult that landscape can be. Dense forest, old wells, wetlands, and pipelines create countless hiding places for small objects, and they also hide the passage of people and animals. Weather and terrain change quickly. A footprint one day can be washed away the next. That makes the speed and the thoroughness of early searches so critical. The RCMP deployed search and rescue teams, 9 units, drones and helicopters. They work with volunteers and local people who know the land. Those are the tools that can turn up a small but decisive piece of evidence. A fabric fiber, a shoe print, a misplaced object. Even with all of that work, several physical traces remain ambiguous. The files reference a pink blanket, boot prints, and other small items that family members and police recovered in the days after the disappearance. Such items can be important, but forensic science takes time. DNA traces, fibers, and soil analysis must be handled carefully to create results that hold up in court. Chain of custody rules matter. A single misstep in how a sample is collected or stored can render it less useful. That's why investigators never rush lab work, and why they sometimes keep results confidential until they can be verified and used appropriately. Another key element the documents reveal is a volume of public leads. Police say they receive hundreds of tips. Some tips will be immediately useful, others will be distant or wrong, and many will require careful checking. For investigators, the job is triage, sorting tips by credibility, checking timelines, finding corroborating evidence, and making sure resources are directed where they can do the most good. That's slow and meticulous work, but it's necessary. A verified tip, even a small one, can refocus an investigation in a productive direction. The files also underscore the legal path investigators followed to get access to evidence. Warrants are not a formality. To obtain them, police must show a judge why the records they seek are relevant and proportional. The released applications reveal that the RCMP sought legal authority to access private records because these data streams could verify the family's reported movements and show whether the children left the area. Judges agreed to the request, but the released versions were redacted to balance the public's right to know with the needs of investigative confidentiality and privacy protection. It's worth saying, plainly, that absence of criminal classification at a given moment does not equate to a lack of seriousness. Many missing person cases begin as non-criminal investigations and later take a different turn when new facts emerge. The RCMP's choice to treat this as an exhaustive missing person inquiry with forensic, technical, and search resources reflects the stakes. 2 young kids are gone, and every possibility must be examined. Investigators face the dual tasks of building a timeline that can withstand legal scrutiny and following any lead that might point to what happened. Community response has been relentless. Volunteers, neighbors, and extended family members have held vigils, organized searches, and kept the story alive. That human energy matters. Local knowledge of trails, fence lines, and seasonal paths can uncover areas professionals might not prioritize. But that local must be coordinated with police, so searches support scientific investigation. The court files and public updates show police trying to manage both, working with volunteers while following up on digital and physical evidence. Finally, the released documents remind us of a difficult truth. People will keep filling the silence with questions, and the internet will create stories to answer them. Police will keep doing the quieter work that often goes unseen, analyzing phone records, testing fibers, comparing timestamps, and revisiting witnesses. Justice and resolution in cases like this come from patience, methodical verification, and public cooperation that preserves evidence rather than contaminates it. If you have anything that could help, an untouched dashcam file from that weekend, a receipt with timestamp, a private security camera clip, passing it to the RCMP through official tip lines is the fastest way to make it useful. For now, the warrants show an investigation that is wide, modern, and exhaustive on paper. The redactions show investigators are keeping some cards close to the chest. And the public reaction shows how much these 2 children mean to a community and to people who are following from afar. The work will continue. Laboratory tests, data analysis, further interviews, and targeted searches. The case is far from closed, and every verifiable piece of information still matters. If you have something to share, use the official channels and preserve the original file. If you want to follow verified developments, subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll bring updates as they're confirmed, not as rumor demands. Above all, stay careful with what you share online. Speculation can feel active but often does real harm. The path to answers is built on verified facts, patient work, and cooperation. That's how cases are solved. That's how children are found. Keep watching. Keep checking your own files and give investigators the time and help they need to follow the trail.
Officers received a call about 2 missing children in Lansdowne Station. The information at the time was that they wandered off away from the property, and I can tell you that our officers got at the scene very quickly, and we were monitoring the situation and hopefully finding the children very soon after that.
So it's very quickly. Officers arrive, and then what? You expected, it sounds like you're saying, that you'd find the children quickly, or hoped you would anyways. That didn't happen.
So Kayla, what I can tell you, from experience, you look at missing children, I've been involved with a handful of cases since I've been with Strategic Communications. Most oftentimes, the children are located very quickly after officers arrive at the scene, right? And that's our hope every single time, that they wandered off and you can find the children. Because I'm sure, you know, like every officer out there, I'm not on the road currently, but your heart is pounding, the adrenaline is rushing, you're trying to find those children, right?
And this case started just like that?
That's
what you're
correct.
describing, you thought you'd go there, find them very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And our officers were nearby in an ongoing search for a kayaker that had gone missing the day prior. So, you know, I can tell you I was monitoring the situation remotely, and our officers, I could tell they were getting there as quickly as possible.
There are some, as you are aware, many theories out there. Some people think, well, maybe it's really just a tragic accident. Maybe they just wandered off into the woods. But you've said that it's suspicious. So at the very least, why does the RCMP view this case as suspicious?
So every missing persons investigation is suspicious until it's proven that it's not. You know, if we don't have that information to say that it's not suspicious, we have to continue to assume that it is suspicious and access those resources and tools and follow up those tips and find that evidence until we find the people that are missing.
So you don't think they were abducted, but you can't find them. How do two young children just vanish?
That's a great question, Kayla, and we are asking for the public for tips and information. And to date, we've received close to 500 tips, so we have to follow up on those tips, right? Whether it's a tip that indicates that there could be something that happened elsewhere in the province, elsewhere in the country, we have to follow up on those investigative tips to rule them out. And to this date, we haven't had any confirmed sightings.
But there have been tips that lead you to other parts of the country that you had to check.
As with any investigation, oftentimes we do get tips that you have to verify that are elsewhere, yes.
You have said that the children were last seen alive the day before. Can you tell me about the nature of that?
So we know they were seen in public with loved ones the day prior. The specifics are